Okay. Left off here a while ago, so I will continue. I have these tiles with the 14, number 14 on them, and this door. So my initial guess was to put, since there are 4 E's in this word, to just replace them. Hey. Hey, did you just hear something unlock? Does that mean we got it right? Yeah, looks like we did. The 14 hidden on the tile. If you convert that to hexadecimal, it's an E. Basically, the E's in emergence are the 14s from the tiles. So if we replace it, that gives up the answer. Do you really care why it worked? Let's just get out of here. Yes, let's go. We found it! They passed through the open door and headed to the next room. Junpei jogged down the short staircase and looked around. What the hell is this place? The words had sprung unbidden to his lips, but it was clear why. Junpei shivered. Lotus and Seven reached the bottom of the stairs and stopped short, terrified. This room is really creepy. I think we ought to get the hell out of here now. He jogged up the stairs on the opposite side of the room and shook the door on the wall next to the catwalk. It didn't open, and he muttered to himself. Figures. It's locked, isn't it? Yep, don't know why I thought this one would be any different. Junpei looked around the room again. In the center of it was a chair. The back of it was covered with electrodes connected to a nest of wires. Beneath it was a strange glass panel. Junpei wasn't sure what it was for, but it made him uncomfortable. Whatever might have been beyond the glass, Junpei couldn't tell, of it was a chair, but it was too dark. The back of it was covered with electrodes. Junpei turned to look at the right side of the room. There was a table covered with a piece of cloth. Parts of the cloth were stained with something that looked suspiciously like blood. On top of the table were a number of metal instruments. Junpei didn't know what they were for, and he had a feeling he didn't want to find out. His mind began to imagine what could have taken place in that dark, cold room. The things he imagined were not pleasant. Junpei shook his head in an attempt to clear it and tried to focus on something else. Anyway, we don't want to stay here any longer than we got to. Let's figure out the puzzle and get the hell out of here. Come on. Seek a way out. Torture room. Pleasant. Very pleasant. What's wrong, Junpei? What are you doing on the floor? Well, I thought maybe if I got down here, I could see through the glass. It's not working, though. You don't think it's just a large sheet of glass they put into an indentation? I don't know, I mean, why would they do that? And the placement of the chair... You're not making sense, Junpei. What's your point? Well, I'm not sure, but don't you think there's something under the glass? Maybe the glass is one way, like they have in the police station, you know? Or maybe it's just covered with something that makes it opaque. Nah, it doesn't matter how close I get, I still can't see anything. Echoes when I knock on it though. I wonder if it's hollow. These shackles are just leather straps. I don't think they actually lock. You know, we don't got time for shit like that, kid. Come on. That's why I want to take a good look at it. Think about all the other rooms you've gone through. You never know where you might find a puzzle, you know? We gotta be suspicious of everything. What? Why on earth are you putting your ear on the floor? It's filthy. Huh? That's weird. I think I can hear water down there. There's something on the screen. This device will conduct the experiment. Once the experiment has been completed, the door will unlock. First, adjust the switches to match the blocks in the sample above. Huh. I don't know what this thing is, but we gotta figure out this puzzle. Do we gotta, though? It's right next to a torture chair. These cables are really complicated. Does this thing really need all these cables? Maybe they're for adjusting the voltage, you know? If you power just one cable, then the voltage is low. You turn on more cables if you want more voltage. If you pump electricity through all 10 cables, that'd probably be enough to electrocute someone. Oh man, just thinking about that scares the crap out of me. Let's try not to do that anymore, okay? Okay. The needle on the gauge is at 0. It doesn't look like it's gonna move. All of the dials are pointing in different directions. Maybe something will happen if we turn them. Ha, shoot. They're all rusted. I guess turning them doesn't really do anything. There are a ton of knobs here. It doesn't seem like any of them do anything though. Think it's broken? There are a bunch of buttons here with the letters A through F on them. I wonder if they do anything. Down you go. So if I press it again, back you come. I guess these buttons switch something on or off when you push them. Red, yellow. You think the colors mean something? No idea. Red looks more dangerous, but other than that, the bottom of this one looks like it's covered in rust. I don't think it'll move at all. Alright. There's nothing suspicious about these lights. They're a little blurry from the dust, but that's about it. It said the door will unlock if we complete the experiment. So in other words, we aren't getting out that door until we finish this experiment. Well, let's do that then. Fair enough. Water! Thought there was a hole here, but I guess it's got a cover over it. You aren't going to be able to get that off. It's bolted on there pretty good. Maybe there's something around here we can use to get that thing off of there. Can you see anything in there? If you can't see anything, I don't really think we need to bother with trying to open it. It's too dark to see anything. Huh? Did I see something shiny in there? Maybe. There's something shiny in there. Yeah, well maybe. We gotta check though. It would be pretty bad if we missed something important. Maybe we can find something to take that cover off with. This tank thing is connecting the pipes. This looks like it's supposed to split a pipe or something, you know? But this one just connects a pair of pipes. You could have done the same thing with more pipe. It doesn't really seem like they need it here. I wonder if there's a reason for it. This handrail runs all the way from the entrance. It doesn't go down one side of the stairs. These stairs go to the exits. The L-shaped pipe and the straight one are both connected to this tank thing. They're pretty big pipes, but that tank is even bigger. Of course, the entrance is locked. It's been like that in every room we've been in. What did you expect? There's no point to try to go back. Let's just think about going forward, alright? Smarts. Clever girl. Hey, this pipe is connected to that thing over in the corner. I imagine there are electrical wires running through that pipe to the device. When you look at it from here, the catwalk looks pretty high up. That makes the stairs pretty steep. We better be careful going up and down them. There are a bunch of pipes up near the ceiling. I don't think there's going to be a puzzle up there. At least I hope not. We can't even reach them. All of the cables are running out of the chair. I can't see them very well. They look like they're connected to some wires up on the ceiling. A number of rusty torture tools are lined up here. I don't think there's anything else here we need. You're just scared, dude. Don't be scared, man. What, you want to go back, Junpei? I wish solving this puzzle were that easy. The cover's bolted on there pretty good. Should be able to get those bolts off with this wrench we just found, though. Sweet, it's open. The hole's too small. You can't see in even with the cover off. Well, you can't see in, but I think there's enough room to stick your arm in. Are you sure you want to do that? There could be something dangerous in there. Okay, I admit that scares me a little, but we need to see if there's anything useful in there. Okay. Alright, here we go. Arm into the hole. Hey, I think I can feel something. It's small, cold, and hard. Doesn't feel like there's anything else in here. Alright, let's see what this thing is. Sun key. For the sun manacles, probably. The sun key should fit into the keyhole on these manacles. Alright, sun key, in you go. And yes. Great, they're open. I don't think we're going to need the sun key again in here though. Just seems unlikely. Alright, sun key, you've done your job. Into my pocket with you. I don't think examining the chair is going to cause that machine to do anything. I should probably take a look at the monitor instead. The screen says to fill a tank with water. We need to find the controls for the tank, I guess. It's definitely this. Can't get it to do anything. I shouldn't waste my time messing around with it. All the dials are rusted. I don't think where they're pointing means anything. These levers have got to turn something on. Of course they would. All they can do is turn something on or off. What's important is what they turn on or off. Don't say the floor is going to suddenly open up. I can see some oil or something down there at the base of the lever. Yeah, it feels like it's got some movement to it. I should be able to pull this one. Alright, let's pull the lever. Is that water? What the hell? What's going on? Will you calm down? It's just water going somewhere. It sounds like it's underneath us. That means the floor. Oh! Junpei, look. What she... Oh damn. I can see through the glass now. EDBF. There are a couple of letters in the color of blood written on the shark's belly. It's dead. Looks like the letters are EDBF. Whatever these are 4 has to be in this room somewhere. E, D, yep. E, D, B, F. What? There's a strange noise coming from the chair. It looks like it's been turned on. I guess the puzzle here was that the power had to be sent in a specific way. Should probably take a look. Yep. We filled the tank. The restraining device is unlocked. Please seat subject and device. The message on the screen was disturbingly detached. Well, like we thought, it's not going to work unless someone sits in it. How ironic that this would be the situation in which the slim, beautiful body is useful. You're nice. Lotus, are you sure I can sit in it and you can solve? Junpei's right. If we screw it up, Seven couldn't bring himself to finish the thought. His eyes fall to the floor. Junpei followed them. Beneath them was the dead shark floating underneath the glass. Perhaps it had been killed by an electric shock. I'll be fine, even if I fall in, the shark is already dead. But no one likes an indecisive man, Junpei. I can still give you advice from the chair, too. You know, I just don't want to stay in this room any longer than we have to. Go over to that screen and let's get this over with. After her words had made it clear that Lotus would book no argument, she turned and walked toward the chair without hesitation. But she did not sit down. Despite what she had said, she did indeed feel hesitation. Her legs shook. Look, do you think you could do me one last favor? Don't say last. You're making me nervous. Just listen. If something happens to me, I want you to tell my daughters that I love them very much. No, tell them that I will always love them. Daughters? You've got kids? Yes, I do. I suppose they're about your age, Junpei. They're twins. I had them when I was young. After some things happened. Their names are Nona and... What? Nona? Junpei's words shot out before he even realized what he was saying. He remembered the story Seven had told him. Aoi, Light, and Nona. Those were their names, well, some of them. The kids that were there in the experiment, I mean. What the hell was wrong with you? Lotus took a step back from Junpei. Seven looked just as shocked as Junpei. He blinked his eyes rapidly, as if he weren't sure if he was completely awake. No way, it couldn't. Lotus, is your last name Kashiwabara? Lotus's eyes went wide. How do you know that? Are you serious? What the hell is this? There's no way you're that kid's mom. That kid? Lotus's eyes went wide. Why are you acting like you've met her? Seven's brow furrowed. I have. What? Yeah, I met one of your kids. When? 9 years ago. Where? On this ship. Why were you... It's not a short story. I don't care how long it is. Tell me, please. What happened here? Seven glanced at Junpei, then turned back to Lotus and began to speak. It was the same story Junpei had heard only minutes before. Every detail. At last, Seven finished. Lotus shook her head. Oh my god. Everything I've been looking for the last 9 years. The person who had all the answers was right here. Looking for? Yes, that's right. 9 years ago, my daughters disappeared. Then, 9 days later, they came back. They never told me what happened to them over those 9 days. I took them to the doctor, but I was told they hadn't been hurt in any way. Still, I was sure that they had been through something terrible, so I couldn't bring myself to force them to talk about it. If I did, then I'd force them to relive whatever horrors they'd been through. I didn't have any choice. I had to try to ignore it and move on. few months passed. Gradually, they started to act like they always had before they disappeared. They smiled and made jokes and did all the silly things kids do. It got harder and harder for me to ask them about what had happened. How could I ask them to remember that? Eventually I knew there was no way I could do it. But I'm still a mother. I couldn't simply forget that something terrible happened to my children. So I decided I would investigate what had happened on my own. I would find out what had happened during those 9 missing days. What did you find out? Nothing. The police pretended to be concerned, but they didn't do anything. Once the 16 children who'd gone missing came back, things were just swept under the rug. Even the media didn't talk about what had happened. I figured someone was probably paying or threatening them to keep their mouths shut. Cradle Pharmaceutical. No, probably something even bigger than that. Cradle Pharmaceutical? Have you heard of them before? No, that's the first time I've ever heard that name. 7. How did you find out that Cradle Pharmaceutical was connected to the kidnappings in the first place? I figured finding out whatever the victims had in common would lead me to the culprit. That's what any good cop does. What did they have in common? Every single one of those kids who disappeared had gone to this one hospital at some point. The hospital was one of a bunch that were under the control of Cradle Pharmaceutical. After that, it was just about connecting the dots. The hospital. For a while, I was trying to get some kind of story out of the kids at the hospital. One of them told a weird story. What was it? Have you heard about the Gansfeld experiment? I guess all these kids had to go through it while they were at the hospital. I think it was passed off as some sort of counseling. 7 cleared his throat and proceeded to explain the Gansfeld experiment. First, subjects Q and A are put into separate rooms far away from one another. Then a series of video images are shown to subject Q, who is told to send the images to subject A by thinking about them. Subject A, on the other hand, is put in the large reclining chair and given the blindfold. With their senses cut off, A is asked to guess what images Q is looking at. Oh yes, I've heard of that. It's a famous telepathy experiment, isn't it? Telepathy. Junpei rolled the word over in his mind. That's how the experiment on the ship was supposed to work. The experiment to control people, right? Yeah. I don't know if any of the telepathy stuff really exists, but maybe someone from Cradle Pharmaceutical bought into it. Lotus grunted. 7 had been thinking hard for the last several minutes and finally spoke. Even if that is the case, I still don't get how that has anything to do with any of this. The nonary game, 0, why we were targeted. What does any of that have to do with telepathy? I know I brought all this up, but I have no idea. Maybe none of this stuff is connected after all. Then in that moment of silence, a cold voice echoes down from the ceiling. No subject has been detected. Unless a subject is detected within 60 seconds, all power will be shut down. System recovery is estimated to take 1 hour. If you wish to proceed with the experiment, please seat subject in the restraining device. Whoa, that doesn't sound good. Yeah, okay, I'm going. Oh no, that's not what we... Just hurry up and get it over with. Junpei, I'm counting on you. Right. Lotus sat down on the chair. Junpei looked at her one last time, then made his way to the monitor. Lotus, please, tell me right away if you feel anything weird. You worry too much. Now get on with it and be a man, or Jun's going to leave you. Lotus was putting on the best act she could manage, but her legs were shaking so much that if she hadn't been sitting, she likely would have fallen down. Failure was not acceptable. Junpei took one last deep breath and stared at the monitor. Hmm. This is an odd puzzle. Aw man, I had to do both sides. Alright, let me turn it off. Leave it off. Ugh, okay. So close. Okay. I gotta get that stupid one, the top right. Ugh. Nope. Oh, there you go. This is fun. Oh, this side's right. Hmm. Oh. Sick. The experiment has concluded. The door will now unlock. I can hear the door unlocking. And now we've got a new message. Release subject from restraining device. Lotus, are you alright? Yes, I am. I'm glad nothing bad happened, but I do think my life just got a little shorter. Hold on, I'll get you out right away. Shouldn't take long for Seven and me to get her out of here. Let's get out of here now. Being a guinea pig is not for me. Damn straight. I don't ever want to see this thing again. The screen says door unlocked. Great. You found it. We found it. Outside of the room, a hallway led off to their left. With nowhere else to go, they started down it. They turned left twice before they saw the elevator. In silence, they jogged up to it. Junpei pushed the C button. The elevator motor ground away, and before long they found themselves once again on C deck. The door opened and they stepped off. They expected to find 4 other people waiting for them. There were none. Where did they go? I have no idea. Lotus shrugged. Something in the pit of Junpei's stomach stirred. He tried to forget the feeling and took off down the long hallway before him. Seven and Lotus followed at a run. They ran and ran and ran. The hallway seemed endless. Their destination had already been decided. The door behind the central staircase. There was a sun symbol engraved on the keyhole of that door, and Junpei had the sun key in his pocket. That key would open the door. It had to. That was why they ran for the central staircase. They had run for quite some time when they arrived at a door that ended the hallway. Junpei stopped. He laid his hand on the doorknob, his breathing heavy. Seven laid a hand on his arm. Hold on a sec there. Huh? We don't have the key for this one yet, right? There's the Jupiter symbol engraved over the keyhole. 7 was right, they had no Jupiter key. Then we can't open this door. Fortunately, no we can't. Geez, the sun door's just gotta be just on the other side of this, you know? Frustrated, he twisted the doorknob. The door opened. Hey, it opened. What? The others must have found the Jupiter key. Well, what are we waiting for? As he spoke, he shoved the door the rest of the way open. They rushed through and stopped cold. The terrible scene before them made their blood run cold. Oh, shit. 3 people lay dead on the floor, covered in blood. Junpei felt a cold sweat trickle down his spine. He couldn't breathe. His legs shook. Santa, no! His body felt cold, deathly cold. But his blood was boiling hot. He could feel his mind begin to fade. He couldn't think, he couldn't concentrate. His mind was blank. What the hell? What the hell happened? Seven's voice was weak and broken. He edged toward the bodies, his movements stiff. He bent down over Clover and pressed his fingers to her wrist. Nothing. She's dead. Suddenly, Lotus moved. Before he understood what was happening, her hand was in Junpei's vest pocket. Hey, what are you doing? He leapt back. Lotus looked up at him, terrified. The key. Give me the sun key. Why? Why do you think? We have to get out of here before the murderer comes back. The murderer. The murderer. Once again, Junpei looked at the dead bodies. Santa, Clover, and Ace. That meant that the person who had killed them was... No. No, it couldn't be true. Before Junpei could react, Lotus dove back into his pocket and came out with the key. Let's go! Without waiting for Seven or Junpei, she ran straight for the central staircase. They followed. Junpei shut his eyes and swallowed his emotions. Morning would have to wait. Soon they stood in front of the door. Lotus shoved the sun key into the keyhole and twisted it hard. But... why? What happened? Nothing. Nothing happened. I didn't feel it unlock. Oh no! Is it the wrong key? I don't know. Maybe. Lotus sighed, defeated, and leaned against the doorknob. She felt it twist. A small gap appeared between the door and the frame. What the hell is this? You mean the door was already unlocked? Why? How would I know that? Whatever, let's just go. Lotus took a deep breath and slowly opened the door the rest of the way. They stepped inside. Ominous. In front of them was another hallway. It stretched out toward the bow of the ship. Bow? They began to run. Faster and faster they ran, trying desperately to reach the end of the hallway. A few seconds later, they were there. In front of it stood a massive metal door. They were all breathing heavily as Junpei spoke. What the hell is this door? I can't see anything that looks like a doorknob or switch or lever or card reader or anything. How the fuck are we supposed to open this? We don't have a choice. We're gonna have to go back. No! I'm not going back there. There's a murderer back there. There was more stark terror in Lotus's voice than authority. She was almost begging. But I don't see any other doors. As he spoke, Seven stepped toward the door in front of them, as if to illustrate that it was the only door. It opened. Nothing surprising, a simple automatic door. Look guys, I got a really bad feeling about all of this. The other doors were already unlocked, and this one's automatic. We haven't seen anything like this before. How could their situation possibly get worse? 3 people were already dead. They'd hit the bottom, Junpei told himself. There was nowhere to go but up. He stepped through the door. And whatever hope Junpei had managed to summon disappeared. No. It wasn't true. It couldn't be true. It was impossible, utterly impossible. It was a dream. It had to be a dream, a nightmare. Yes, it was a nightmare, and if he could just wake up, he was seeing things. Yes, that was it. This was a hallucination, a lie. It wasn't real. It wasn't real. It wasn't real, right? June. No. No, the code names meant nothing now. Canny. 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 Damn! Junpei cried out and leapt through the door. He flew to her side, his heart like a stone in his chest. Canny, Canny, hang on. Junpei swept her up and shook her by the shoulder. She moaned and her eyes fluttered open, but only barely. Canny, Jumpy? Her face was pale and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight at Junpei, but saw nothing. Junpei put his hand against the small of her back to hold her up. It felt warm and wet. He lifted his hand up. It was covered in blood. Oh man, Canny, what the hell happened to you? How did this happen? It was all he could do not to break into tears. Jumpy, I'm sorry. Her voice was thin, a minuscule thread that was the only thing keeping her with him. I might not make it. No way! No way am I gonna let you die. I'm gonna save you, I promise. Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you so much for everything. I was really happy to see you again, Jumpy. Really happy. Don't give me that I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more times. You just gotta hang on. Alright, Canny? He looked up from Canny, desperate for something. Anything. Then he saw it, a small submarine. A submarine? What on earth was a submarine doing there? No, that didn't matter. Nothing mattered except saving Canny. That was the only thing he wanted. Junpei turned his head back to look down at her. Hang on, alright? There was a submarine over there. I'm gonna go see if it works. No, don't go. Please don't go. Please just stay with me, okay? I want to be close to you, Jumpy. When I... Canny! Jumpy, did you know? You meant a lot to me when we were kids. I've liked you for a long time, Junpei. A really long time. Junpei's vision had gone blurry. It took him a moment to realize his eyes were filled with tears. He could feel a piercing point of heat deep in his heart, like a white-hot flame. Jumpy, do you remember how we hung out a lot when we were kids? We went to the pool and to the fair. Do you remember playing snowball at the school? They're all memories I'll never forget. All of those moments are treasures to me. But I also wanted to go to a lot of other places with you, a lot more. But that won't happen now. No, I mean yes, it will happen. We'll go all sorts of places, Canny. You hear me? I promise, we'll go wherever you want. Really? Yeah, really. I swear. That makes me happy, really happy. She said it to herself over and over, a weak smile creasing her tired face. Jumpy, I feel sleepy. No, Canny, don't fall asleep. Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you so much. Ah! Her eyes were slowly closing. Junpei screamed, even as he felt his throat go hoarse. Canny, Canny! Canny! No! Time passed. Junpei wept, curled around Kenny's body. He cried and cried until he had no tears left. When the last tear fell, Junpei was no more. His body remained, but only as an empty shell. Somewhere he heard a bell ring. It was the clock at the central staircase. It rang 5 times, then faded. 5 o'clock. Quietly, gently, softly, he set Kenny down on the floor. Slowly, Junpei stood. Only then did he realize that Seven and Lotus had not followed him. Where had they gone? Slowly he looked around the room. There was nothing, no sign that they had ever been there. It felt as though every part of Junpei's body was made of lead. Slowly he made his way to the door he'd come through. As he approached it, it opened, sliding apart with a sound like grinding stone. Junpei passed through the gate and into the hallway. Poor guy. Oh, what the f... His heart rattled in his chest, an empty, lifeless thing. It had been so utterly broken that there was nothing left to feel. When he saw their bodies, he simply stared. It was a lake, a sea of blood. 2 bodies lay in it. There was no need to check. There was no breath left in them. His eyes lit on Lotus's wrist. Her bracelet, it was gone. He stared. It meant nothing to him. He didn't care anymore. He couldn't care anymore. Junpei's body felt numb. A part of him knew the lump of lead in his chest had once been a heart. He couldn't quite remember what it had been for. Tears poured from his eyes in great streams. He wasn't sure why. He gave up trying to make them stop. He turned around, the door opened again, and slowly, numbly, he walked through. He kept walking. Why stop? An object set in motion, simple inertia carried him forward. Eventually, he found himself in front of the submarine. His arm reached for the hatch. What is going on? And then he was floating in water. His eyes stared down into it. He couldn't see the bottom. His back was hot. Dimly he felt the blade of a knife in it. Who? One dead body lay behind door number 5. The body of the 9th man. Another lay in the shower room. The body of Snake. At the central staircase were 3 more. Ace, Santa, and Clover. Just outside the door were 2 corpses, those of Seven and Lotus. And in this very room lay the body that had once been Canny. And now Junpei would join them. Who then had killed them all? Who? Junpei let out one last breath. Faintly, he felt the bubbles creep up the side of his face. His consciousness faded quickly, dissolving away into the cold, gentle lapping of the water. What the hell? This is like, what, this has to be like the terrible ending. I'm like super confused. I hope there's like some sort of new game plus or something after all this. The end. Or is it? Better not be. You have reached one ending. This game has multiple endings. In order to experience all the endings, you need to save now. Once you have saved, you can't restart the game with information you've acquired in this playthrough save. Once you begin the game again, you can skip through text you've already seen. Simply press right on the control pad to fast forward through lines you've already read. That's clever. Once you reach lines you haven't seen or new choices, it will automatically stop. The Memories of the Escape option has been added to the main menu. Memories of the Escape enables you to play the stages you have completed. It is recommended to save after this in order to unlock the Memories of the Escape. Would you like to keep the information you gained as a walkthrough? Yes. Begin Memories of the Escape. Wait, if I do this, I guess it's the same thing. Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, who cares about this stuff? Blah, blah. I wake up. What's this? What's going on? WTF. Okay. Alright, I think I remember what to do. Yeah. I remember you, Blue Key. We can't do it yet, we don't have the code. I wonder if this is like the same thing as the very first one, or the original puzzle. Yeah, it seems like they are. Just going to keep going though. Alright, so this is 0263. Yeah, done this before. Nope. Nice. Blue key cards. Great. Yep. I remember all of this. Uh-huh. So screws. Where's the screwdriver? It's in here, right? Yep. Yep. Don't need that. Anyway. Where's the red briefcase? I don't remember now. Oh, yep. Totally did that already. I'm a boss. Alright. Five. Of course, the files. Digital root of 5. 13. 14. That's it, right? Yep. Did it. Yeah. Yep. Find these people again. Oh, you guys all died recently. It's much faster not having to read all the text. Yep, I remember you, love of my life. Man, this is a lot of reading. Yeah, they're giving each other the code names now. This guy. Hope he die. Well, you're gonna die, buddy. Doesn't matter. Boom. Yep, you did. I don't remember what it's asking me. Whatever. Dun dun dun. Holy shit. Yep, that everyone who verified had to go. Oh, I get it. That decision I made is a different shade of gray earlier. Yes, I understand this. I understand. Yep, he's dead. They're still talking. Alright, why don't you guys actually do something now? What would the digital route be? 8, 9, 10, 11, 17. Oh, why am I even? It's like right there. Duh. Let's go through 5 this time. Now we can't skip through this because it's new. Junpei's cry echoed across the room. The 4 people walking toward the door stopped and turned back toward him. I want to go through door 5 too. The words were scarcely out of his mouth when June spoke up. What? What are you saying, Jumpy? If you're going through that door, then I'm going with you. He turned around to look at her. No, you can't. I can't take you with me. Why? Well, you know what's in there, don't you? Are you sure you want to see that? June opened her mouth as if to say something, but instead closed it again and looked at the floor. Junpei felt an ache in his chest. I heard clear distress, but the choice was not his to make. There was nothing else he could do. Junpei turned away from June, doing his best to silence his turbulent emotions. Please, let me go into door 5. Seven scratched his head and looked at the young man. Man, now we're right back where we started, you know that? Junpei's bracelet is number 5, right? If we are going to add Junpei, then we must subtract 5 from the rest of us. Snake turned to Ace. Ace, please take good care of Clover. Oh, alright. That's fine. Don't go away. You need to listen to me, Clover. Go to door 4 with the others. No, don't be so selfish. Snake's tone was harsh. Tears welled up in Clover's eyes. She bit her lip and did her best to fight them off. Snake's expression softened, and he put his arms around Clover. He held her close and whispered into her ear. You'll be fine, just relax. It looked as though he whispered 2 or 3 more words, but whatever they were, Junpei didn't hear them. He couldn't help but wonder what the other man had said. Snake pulled back from his sister, his eyes kind and inquiring. Okay, I understand. Her voice was barely audible from where Junpei stood. Before long, new teams were assembled. Those going to door 5, 7 Snake and Junpei. 7, yep. Those going to door 4, those Santa, June, Ace, and Clover. Seven Snake and Junpei scanned their numbered bracelets in quick succession. The screen of the red showed 3 asterisks. Alright then, let's go. Junpei glanced around one last time, his hand resting on the lever of the red. Okay, please be careful. Concern was written plainly across her face. Junpei looked her in the eye and gave what he hoped was a reassuring nod. He pulled the lever. The sharp clack of a lock releasing the door swung open. Ahead of them in the small hallway were the pitiful remains of the 9th man. For a moment Junpei froze. Try as he might, his eyes would not leave the corpse, and his feet would not leave the floor. 7 too seemed paralyzed. Snake, on the other hand, seemed unconcerned. He walked calmly down the bloody hallway and only stopped when he realized his companions were not following. Do you intend to kill me? I assume you haven't forgotten the door only remains open for 9 seconds, have you? He hadn't even bothered to turn around. His head was at most slightly cocked toward one shoulder. Junpei and Seven looked at one another, nodded, and threw themselves through the door. As they did, a cold tone sounded from the left wrist of all 3 men. Seven and Junpei looked down at their bracelets. On both of them and on Snake's, a red skull had flickered to life. The detonator had begun its countdown. They had scarcely processed this information when... With a metallic slam, the numbered door behind them swung shut. Unless they could find a device that would deactivate the detonators on their wrists, they would not be leaving the hallway. Hey, where's the dead? The fear and urgency in Seven's face reflected what all 3 of them felt. Junpei spun around, searching desperately for the dead. He found it easily enough. It was on the wall next to the closed door labeled 5. Found it right here. As he yelled, he struck the scanner with his hand. The other 2 scrambled to follow suit. As soon as they finished, Snake threw the lever down. Phew. Well, it looks like it stopped. As he spoke, Junpei wiped the sweat from his forehead with a trembling hand. Goddamn thing's gonna give me a heart attack. A muscle stood out in Seven's neck, and the corners of his mouth were twitching. Jumpy, are you alright? Are you guys okay? They could hear anxious voices, muffled but distinct, from the other side of the door. Yeah, we're fine. The detonators have been deactivated. They heard relieved sighs, and even through the door, the 3 men could feel the tension disperse. Alright, we're moving on. Be careful, okay? Okay, sure thing. They heard footsteps moving away, and before long they were alone again. Junpei looked around. The hallway hit a dead end 20 or 30 feet from where they stood. A thick iron wall blocked their way. Try as they might to force it, the wall refused to move. To the left, however, was a wooden door that looked positively inviting by comparison. In the middle of it was a plaque that read, First Class. A first-class cabin, huh? Well, it seems like it. Let's have a look then, shall we? Without hesitation, Snake opened the door and stepped inside. Seven followed closely behind him. Junpei moved to follow them as well, but... He stopped just short of the threshold and looked back, not knowing why. Lying in the small hallway was a man's body, or at least what was left of it. He tried hard to avoid looking at the grisly scene, but it just wouldn't leave his mind. What had once been a man's internal organs now looked like so much vomit, as though something had chewed up and spit out the better part of his torso. It was hideous, but worse still, it was cruel. It was hard to believe the thing on the floor had once been human. The black pool of thick blood, the lumps of glistening flesh spread across the floor, the awkward twisted tangle of shredded intestines, the head wrenched to some grotesque, unnatural position. The man's glasses lay next to his head. The lenses were cracked and the frame bent and distorted. And next to the glasses lay a bracelet, the number 9 still displayed on its face. Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1. You escape from this ship. 2. Your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once a bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or detects that its wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically. Suddenly, Junpei felt his stomach convulse, and a knot of muscles gripped his throat. He clapped his hands over his mouth and ran to the first-class cabin. The atmosphere changed immediately. The room was gorgeous, and despite the apparent age of the ship, none the worse for wear. Hey! How's it going? I'm like doing this like second run because I just got the bad ending, or what I think is the bad ending. Sad. The atmosphere changed immediately. The room was gorgeous, and despite the apparent age of the ship, none the worse for wear. He looked around. Only seems to be work. Okay, so, okay. I don't know why. I don't know. On the other side of the door was a short hallway. He jogged down the hallway, opened the door at the other end, and peeked through. There they were to his right, busy examining something. He stepped through the door and walked toward them. What's up? Check this out. We found this thing here on the door. I'm also like using a not my normal computer. Like I'm using like a laptop. So there are probably some settings that are messed up. Check this out. We found this thing here on the door. The red light's on. Does that mean it's locked? So I would assume. Is there any other way out? We looked around a little. Other than this door, we didn't find anything. So you're telling me that unless we can open this door, yes, we won't be going anywhere. Junpei stepped away from the door and looked around the room. The room they were in looked like a bedroom. Oh, I'm not sure what the save has, but it was like everyone died. Which is sad. The room, yeah, like, what's his face? Got stabbed. Got stabbed in the back. The room they were in looked like a bedroom. He figured the room he'd originally entered was a living room, or whatever passed for one on a ship. Alright, let's find a way to open this door. Come on, guys. Seek a way out. Okay. So this is the locking thing. It's flashing red. That's usually not a good sign. Is that a microphone? It looks like a satellite dish. Let me see. Well, judging by the feel of it, I would guess that we are meant to produce some sort of sound. And this device will sense it and unlock. That's very smart of you. A bed with a canopy. I've seen things like this in movies and stuff, but never in real life. True, you don't see too many of these days. I can't see the details obviously, but I imagine it's one of those princess beds Clover is so fond of. Clover wants one of these? Yes, she wants a princess bed. Didn't I say that? You think it doesn't suit her? Yeah, I guess you could say that. Ah, Junpei, judge her by her appearances, will you? And where you should not. Score plates. Hey. I see, this feels like glass. A rectangular plate of glass. Is there something written on the surface? Yeah, it's a sheet of music with a couple of A notes. Just A's? Yeah, that's it. Kind of weird, huh? Probably because you have to overlay it on another plate that has other notes. It took Junpei by surprise. The sub ending. I did, yes. The submarine. Like I thought I was gonna escape on it, but then he found everyone dead, basically. And he freaked out. He stared about the room almost frantically, clearly looking for something. No, Junpei thought, not staring. After all, he's blind. Blind or not, Snake was clearly attempting to do something. At last, Junpei could no longer contain his curiosity. What are you doing? Snake waited a moment before answering. I heard something strange. Something strange? Oh, well, never mind. It doesn't seem to be anything suspicious. I don't wish to toot my own horn, but my auditory senses are considerably more advanced than those of most humans. I notice even the slightest of noises. Right, are you going to tell me you can hear a needle drop from a mile away? Ha, no, such a thing would be impossible. However, by listening to the sound of footsteps and breathing, as well as sound echoing off the environment, I can locate most objects. Oh yeah, that's right. When Clover fell on the big staircase a little while ago, you were at her side, immediately. So that was, yes, I could hear it happening. In fact, I can run quite fast, certainly as fast as you, and should someone attempt to start a fight with me, I'm quite confident that I could defeat them. Junpei was somewhat taken aback by this revelation. Yeah, Snake is just like epic listening skills. He's like Daredevil. He stared at Snake, skeptical. You don't believe me, do you? Care to give me a try? I must warn you, you'll no doubt regret it. Well, I suppose that's enough playing around. Let's resume our search, shall we? With a small, self-satisfied smile, Snake turned and walked away from Junpei. Snake's weird. What a weird guy. It's totally a table with a mirror. Oh yeah, see, no, that sort of thing is known as a vanity. Were you aware of that, Junpei? Of course, vanity also refers to self-love, conceit, and narcissism. As such, you could say that every day, when a woman looks into one of these, She is staring at her own conceit and narcissism. Doesn't that strike you as terribly sad? What a downer. The lights are lit. I always click on the lights, and it's always the same. These are just lights. What's this? This isn't a score. Is this a map of the ship? A map? There's a map of the ship here? Yeah, then I imagine it will prove very helpful. You'd best hold on to it, Junpei. Okay. It is not possible to use the map screen. Great. Put the score on here. Might as well put this glass plate on it. Oh, Is something wrong? It's kind of hard to see the notes. Maybe if I put something under them. A background for the notes. What would that be? The safe is locked. It's one of those dial locks. It doesn't have a key. We just need to get the dials in the right place and it'll open. Did you find anything, Seven? Nope. How about you, Snake? I also found nothing. Helpful, guys. There's something in here. Score plate C. Can you combine these? Yes. You have to just put them both on the piano when it's done. A leather suitcase. There's nothing inside. I can tell by the weight, and it makes no noise when shaken. Clever, clever boy. It's a safe with a dial lock on it. We won't be able to open it until we know the right numbers. Fine. It's a light switch. Nothing happens when I press it. Ugh, another bathroom. The lights, huh? Nope, doesn't look like there's anything hidden there. Testing, testing. Hey, it's great to see you all here. I just flew in from New York and boy, are my arms tired. Groan. Yes, thank you, I'll be here all week. Try the veal. It's not a mic 7, it's just a shower head. What? What the hell? Nice one. This faucet must be for putting water in the bathtub. No shit. The bathtub is full of water. Is there ash or something in this water? It looks kind of gray. Let's just pull the plug. No, hold on. Maybe we can, I don't know, use it for something? Use it for something? Yeah, that's a valid question. Well, the sink's clean. Any water? Nothing's coming out. We've got the faucet on all the way, but I can't hear anything. And there we are in the mirror. What a pair. A college kid and a terrifying giant of a man in a beanie. Stuck in a cramped bathroom with this beast of a man. Oops. What would my parents say? Nothing, because it's completely normal. Almost completely normal. It's a sink. The water, yep. This is some sort of antique desk. Makes sense though, I guess. This whole room's full of antiques. You can get a nice handful of cash for all the stuff in here. Yep. Somebody spent a lot of time carving the legs of this chair. It'll snap like a twig if Seven sits on it though. Mind your own business. They're pretty chummy. Chums. It's a heavy piece of paper that's been folded in half. It has score printed on the front of it. Score. That's gotta mean musical score. If that's true, then the score we just found is probably in here. At least at some point. Pick it up. What, you can't pick it up? Fine. It's a chair. Thanks. Oh, there's something in there. There's an iron grate in front of the fireplace. There's something behind it. Can't get it, huh? Don't see one of those too often. Aren't a lot of people these days with real fireplaces and real fires. Very well said. There are a couple of lights up on the wall. This couch looks just big enough for 3 people. Looks perfect for me. What? Perfect for an elegant gentleman like myself. The couch looks a lot more elegant. Hey, there's something you weren't saying. Never mind. You're just an awkward guy. Okay. I get it. You're gonna use this vase, right? That's pretty clever, Junpei. We just gotta fill this thing with water. Let's fill it with the ash water. It's a toilet. Doesn't seem to be anything in the toilet or the tank. Thanks. There's some toilet paper on the wall there. Nothing that looks suspicious. Okay. The bathtub's full of gross, cloudy water. Alright. Shouldn't be too hard to fill this vase up. Vase filled with water. There's a plug on the end of this chain. Alright, why don't we just drain this water? Yeah, good plan. Alright, where's that thing? A good tug ought to be enough to get it out. Huh? Of course. Of course, there's another plate thing in there. This is a suitcase made of leather, the color of rich mahogany. Well, shoot. Looks like there's nothing in it. Leather suitcase, dang, nothing in there. Score plate G. Got a lot of score plates. Okay. Oh, do I need to douse the flame with this water? Alright, time to put this fire out. About time, buddy. Let's do it. Here we go. Haha, good job. Another success. That fire didn't stand a chance. Alright, I'll just pull this out now. Don't want to get burned, so let's pull down the sleeves. Score plates. I think that's the back. As Junpei tucked the plate into his pocket, Seven cried out and stumbled, his balance lost. He threw out a hand and caught the wall in time to steady himself and avoid the floor. But his face was flushed and he looked startled. Hey Seven, what the hell is that? Are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. I just felt a little dizzy, that's all. Seven rubbed a couple of fingers across his brow and then shook his head as if to clear it. What the hell's wrong with me? First memory loss, now I'm getting dizzy for no reason. Memory loss? Junpei couldn't hide the surprise in his voice. Seven, for his part, seemed unconcerned. Right, guess I haven't told you, have I? Told the rest of them, but that must have been before you showed up. Well, the long and short of it is that I don't remember Jack from before I woke up here. Didn't realize I hadn't told you. Whoa, wait a minute. You're talking about amnesia, right? Yeah, I guess so. Well, why are you an amnesiac? What happened to you? If I knew that, I wouldn't really be one, would I? Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Junpei paused for a moment and stared at Seven. Are you telling the truth? Huh? Well, you look pretty calm for somebody who doesn't remember anything. If you've really got amnesia, shouldn't you be like upset or confused or something? Well sure, I mean I was pretty confused when I woke up down on D-Deck, but that was a while ago. I've had some time to get used to it. After a while, I figured it wasn't worth the trouble of worrying about it. After all, why worry about something I can't change? Well, people don't stay amnesiacs. Whoa, forever. I figure it'll work itself out eventually. That's it. That's it. Alright, that's enough talking for now. Let's get back to work. 7 gave Junpei a look the younger man wasn't sure how to interpret, and turned to walk away. Somehow, though, Junpei didn't find his reassurances very reassuring. That's nice. Alright, let's go back to that cool piano thinger. Score plates. Just gotta put the ceramic plate on the bottom, and then stack the glass plates on top of it. Alright, good. Sweet, now I can play the music. Junpei, would you be so kind as to play the piano? I am unable to, you see. I'm sure I needn't tell you, but the keys on this piano are not what you might expect them to be. C won't be C, D won't be D, and so forth. You must listen carefully to determine which keys to strike. Do you understand? Yeah. Alright, let's give this a shot. Nope. So E, A, nope. No. E, F, G, A, E, oops. Alright, let me write this down. E, F, G, A. Right? E, F, G, A. Yeah, that's the first part. Yeah, I don't think I'll use this again. I'm just like out of town and have the opportunity. Hey Lugs, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I kind of sense that is the case. Alright. So it's E, F, G, A, E. And then what's the... Oh, it's E, F, G. So E, F, G, A, E, G, F, E, F, E, F, G, G. Ah, shoot, what is this? Oh, totally guessed. G, A. Oh, because I knew it from the first one anyway. Then A. E, F, G, G, F, F, E. Wow, that was painful. And we're done. Music is not my forte. Wait, what was that noise? Junpei, we did it. Looks like it worked. I heard something unlock over by the exit. Let's go! Good plan. Stand, bow. Be seated. Well, I guess he hasn't forgotten that. At least Snake thinks it's funny. Ha ha ha. Yes, I suppose that was the classroom bell, wasn't it? Yeah, I'd rather do digital root crap instead of what I just did right now. I don't imagine that's what Zero was thinking of, however. No, Zero almost certainly meant to suggest Westminster, not middle school. Westminster, the palace in London that plays host these days to the Houses of Parliament. You've heard of Big Ben, the famous clock tower, yes? Big Ben plays that very collection of notes on the hour. London, the capital of England, huh? At any rate, the door is now unlocked. Let's leave this place immediately. Yes, let's leave this terrible place. The which? Oh yeah, this door. Alright. Let's go. You found it. I found it. He came out of the door and into a long, straight hallway. He paused for a moment and turned around to look behind him. Seven was bent over, apparently doing something to the door. But what's he up to? Junpei had spoke more or less to himself, but apparently Seven had heard anyway. The larger man stood up and turned to Junpei. I was just putting one of those plates in there. It ought to keep the door from locking again. This guy loves propping doors open. Now we can come back here anytime we want, right? Ah, why would you want to come back here? Snake was a reasonable one. Seven thought about it for a moment before he answered. I might like to play a little piano. Piano? Come on, let's get moving. We aren't out of this yet. Without waiting for an answer, Seven started off down the hallway. Snake shrugged, sighed, and quietly followed Seven. That's a lie, Junpei thought to himself. He had difficulty enough believing Seven could play the piano. But even if it could, the piano they just left was largely useless, the keyboard completely scrambled. If Seven wanted to come back, it was unlikely he intended to do so in order to play the piano. But if that was the case, why would he want to leave the door unlocked? Junpei frowned, took one last look at the door, and then walked away toward his companions. After some time in the hallway, they emerged into a larger, more open area. A large metal grate, like the door of a jail, divided it in half. They shook it for a while, but as they had expected, it did not move. Behind the grate were two elevators. From so far away, however, it was difficult to tell if they were still operating. On the left side of the grate was a door. Unfortunately, however, it was locked and refused to open. Junpei took a moment to examine the left side of the room. Next to the wall was a set of stairs leading downward. Standing guard at the top of the stairway was a large iron gate. Foreboding as it was, the gate seemed to be the sort that could be opened, unlike the metal grate that bisected the room. So how many like endings are there? And is there like somewhat significant overlap in the paths? Like if one wanted to play through all the endings, you would have to like replay significant parts of this game, game over and over. With luck, Junpei hoped he might be able to get it open. The female symbol? 6 endings, huh? Yeah, I mean, even in the first playthrough I did, like, there was a point where I, like, forced myself to go with June. And then I thought that that's why I got the ending I did, like where everyone died, and that was kind of sad. You would indeed be replaying it a lot if you want all the endings. Gotcha. Which is why they like highlight previously chosen responses. That makes sense to me. Snake naturally was somewhat more sure. Ah, the Venus symbol. What most people recommend is go ahead and keep replaying until you repeat an ending and don't know what to do next. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of different options that I could have done. Yeah, I'll probably do that after a couple more run-throughs. Do you recall the similar symbols near this large central stairway? They reference many of the solar bodies. Sun, Saturn, Earth. So as you can see, that one is likely not the woman symbol, but a Venus symbol. So I assume. While they had been discussing the symbols, Junpei now realized Seven had slipped away. His absence now felt, Snake and Junpei turned to look for their missing companion. There. Seven had left them to head down this hallway extending to the right of the stairs. Junpei grabbed Snake to lead him in the right direction, and they both headed off after Seven. Before long, the three of them stood in front of the door. It was a French door. Junpei tested the door and realized that, unlike so many others that they encountered, it was unlocked. Almost as though he was afraid it would suddenly lock itself, Junpei threw the door open. Junpei threw the door open very slowly, apparently. He stepped inside. Oh, it's like a casino. It took only a moment for Junpei to take in his new surroundings. If you had been writing down puzzle solutions, you can get to the rooms a little faster when you repeat them. Yeah. That's how I did the first room, or like the initial room with the two suitcases. Sure looks like one. Before Junpei could comment further, a noise from behind made him turn around. Snake was shaking the door they'd just come through. As Seven and Junpei watched, he threw up his hands in frustration, and then kicked the door for good measure. It looked as though they were once again locked in. Great. Great. Can't wait. There was no reason to panic, however. Even if the door had been left open, there was nowhere for them to go. Nowhere for them to go back there. They would have to find another way out. Alright guys, let's split up and search this room. Come on, no dawdling, let's go. Quickly now. Spurred to action by Seven's words, Junpei and Snake began to examine the room. Seek a way out. Again and again. Casino. Card 5 of spades. There's nothing on the table anymore. Standard run-of-the-mill chairs. Cool, cool, cool. Junpei, I found this on the counter. It feels like a playing card. 7 of spades. Well, will you look at that? Someone left a bottle of booze here. Don't mind if I do. Glug, glug, glug. Ah. Oh, that hits the spot. Feels like my throat's burning. Damn, he really drank it. We don't even know how long it's been there. The chandeliers hang. Chandelier light from the ceiling. Ugh. I hate you, Junpei. That's a lot of expensive glasses. Even cheap drinks taste great out of glasses like these. A playing card? 4. So we have 4, 5, 7. 3, 4, 5, 7. Wow, this place is like super amazing. What's this place for? Probably for playing Baccarat. It looks a little off though. Yeah, look at the middle of the table. There's something mounted on it, see? Yeah, what is that? Suddenly 7 began to speak. Ah, Baccarat. You ever played, Junpei? Junpei shook his head. He barely even heard of the game. Alright then, how about I explain the rules to you a bit. See, Baccarat is kind of an unusual game. You've got the banker and the player, and the whole point is that you guess which one's gonna win, and whether the banker or the player wins all depends on their hands. The way each hand works is different from other games too. So you take the number from the ones place after you add up the value of all your cards. Whoever gets the number closest to 9 wins. If your number is smaller than your opponent's, you lose. And that's it. That's the explanation. Got it? Well, actually, there's a lot more to it. Strategy, details, that sort of stuff. But what I just told you sums the core game up pretty well. The single digit of the sum of all the cards you have. The strongest hand is a 9, and the weakest hand is a 0. You just ignore the number in the 10 spot. You get it? He hadn't been asked for it, but 7's explanation, rushed though it had been, was helpful. Although he had only half understood most of it, Junpei now felt as though he had some grasp of how victory was won in Baccarat. However, Junpei had no way of knowing if the puzzle in the Baccarat table in front of them made use of those rules, and if it did, in what way. No problem, he told himself. He would simply have to try everything he could think of. Feeling more confident, if only slightly, Junpei approached the Baccarat table. I could see the playing card behind the thick glass case. This is the 8 of spades. Hey 7, are we really supposed to play Baccarat? It's a Baccarat table. What the hell else are we supposed to do? Should we do? Stop worrying about it. It's real simple. What's the opponent's hand? Well, there's an 8 in that glass case. Alright then. That's your opponent's number. If that's the case, what 3 cards do we need to get that number? 3 cards? There are a couple of indentations with white lines around them, right? Those mean we gotta put down 3 cards. So, place 3 cards here and defeat the opponent's 8. That's what I've gotta do, I guess. Yeah, I think so. Something tells me those aren't the only rules. Alright, let's give it a shot. Before I start, I better make sure I've got the rules straight. 3 empty indentations, pick a card. I figure if I put them in the right spot, something ought to happen. Alright, let's give this a try. So, just like completely arbitrary. 12, 15, 5. I feel like I need to find more cards. Check out that stained glass. That stained glass. How beautiful. What? Huh? Stained glass is colored pieces of glass placed together in a frame. Hey, he can appreciate art too, man. Just because he's blind. As I've said many times before, I need only touch it to know. I can at least discern the basic structure. What an insensitive doofus. So I've got the symbols for heart, spade, and diamond here. Yep, you do. This is the coin slot. The slot machine has a pretty old-fashioned design. It looks well maintained and probably still works. Well, usually the way these things work is that if the reels match, a whole bunch of coins come out. Exchanging those coins for prizes is the best part though. A prize, eh? I wonder what might happen if we were to match all the reels. I imagine a prize would be the tools that would lead to our escape. This is serious, dude. Serious guy. 9. Yeah, it looks like that cover's hiding something. If this is the cover, then maybe it opens up. Probably does. It's an ace. It seems like card is attached to the panel. And attached very well, it seems. If you don't mind, what sort of card is this? It's a playing card, the ace of spades, in fact. Can't pick it up. It's on there really good. I don't think I can get it off. It's a thick stone gate here. Cool. Heart, spade, diamond. This is the stand for the slot machine. I don't see anything suspicious. Heart, spade, diamond. Heart, spade, diamond. Oops. Heart, spade, diamond. The plate says 3. It's the plate on it that says 2. It says 1. Yep. There's firewood in the fireplace. Well said. There's a weird looking thing floating in there. Junpei, I can feel a frame here. What sort of painting is it? Clouds maybe? Clouds? Well, maybe it's a rabbit. A rabbit? Well, if it's not that, it might be a close-up of some teeth. Well, I guess there's actually nothing there. Just a blank piece of canvas in the frame. I see. How strange. So he can feel something behind it. Something painted on it. We just need to turn the lights on. Didn't think I'd find a card here. Oh, 6. Club, diamond, heart. When those 2 lights turn on, I heard something fall from the bottom of the fireplace. Club, diamond, heart. Club, diamond, heart. Club, diamond, heart. Coin bag. There are a whole bunch of coins stuffed into his velour bag. Look at all the coins. Perhaps these coins will allow us to convince the machines to move. Perhaps I talk like this because I'm a very serious man. Alright. Club, diamond, heart. Alright, let's put the coins in the bag in here. What happened? I heard an odd noise. Well, to be honest, I don't know. I pressed some of the buttons and smacked the machine once or twice, but nothing happened. Oh, it looks like the coin got stuck. Oh dear. Alright, let's shove this coin in the coin slot. Come on, you little bastards, I only need one of you. Club, club, diamond, heart. Oh, spin roulette. Club, diamond, heart. I'm a wiener! And I think I hear something unlocking in there. Impressive, Junpei. It would appear to be unlocked now. There is something akin to a drawer in the bottom of the machine. Yes, that is the pickup drawer for dividend. Ugh, this guy. Probably the lock for the drawer got unlocked. Please open it if you would. That is it. Is there something in there? Yeah, a playing card. And this. a key with the Venus symbol on it. Excellent, Junpei. Now we will be able to open the gate. Then we just need to figure out how to get out of this room. Correct. Come on, Junpei, hurry up. And he's off. There was a playing card and the Venus key. Better put the key in my pocket for later. As for the card... Alright, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe I can win this now? Before I start, I better make sure I've got the rules straight. Four, so like 9, right? Let's add it to 9. Alright, if I just put down these 3 cards. Yes, open for me. Great, you did it, Junpei. You think it's telling us to take the 8th card? Come on, let's grab it. Grab it. Alright, let's take this card. Card 8. The 3 cards I put down are stuck to the table. They won't be going anywhere anytime soon. Fine. Have it your way. No, stained glass. Yeah, I don't care. Calling me the stained glass doesn't look outside. Nine. Looks like this is meant to cover something up. There's a 9 engraved in the middle of it. I put the 9 card in there. But I don't have the 9. Oh, 8. 8 plus the ace is 9. Here's a card slot. Looks like we need to put a playing card in there. Alright, let's give it a shot. 8. An Inigo. Yeah, alright, it opened up. As soon as we have another device to contend with. Yes, there are 3 slots in this one. Ay. Let's see. 3 slots for cards. There's a 9 right below them. So that probably means we gotta make 9 with 3 cards we put in the slots, right? Just like we did over at the Baccarat table. Alright, let's give it a shot. Is that even possible? That's what we have. Because the sum is... Oh, I guess it's the digital route. Whatever. Let's put them all in. Alright, so I put all the cards we had left into the slots. What happens now... Is that... Yes, I did hear something from the exit. Excellent work, Junpei. Wonderful. It seems the exit is unlocked. Let's go. Yes, let's get out of here. Alright, let's go. Yay. I'm so happy. You found it. Junpei and his companions ran out of the casino and into a large open room. A room, in fact, that they had been in once before. There was little to surprise them there. They already knew what their next step had to be. The iron gate still stood in place, locked tight, blocking the stairway. In the center of the gate was a keyhole, engraved with the Venus symbol. This time, however, Junpei had the Venus key in his pocket. Wasting no time, he pulled it out and shoved it into the keyhole. He turned it. With the distinctive sound of metal on metal, he felt the lock click open. Alright, let's get this thing open. No problem. Let me help with this one. Junpei grabbed the handle on the left side, and Seven took the handle on the right. On Junpei's signal, they both pushed, and the gate creaked open. It sounds as though you have opened it. We should be able to reach C deck now, I imagine. Snake, are you gonna be alright? I mean, the stairs. Please do not do yourself the embarrassment of underestimating me. I would be unlikely to trip even if I were running backwards. Good to hear. Let's move. At Seven's words, they leapt onto the stairs and jogged quickly down them. In no time at all, they found themselves on C deck. Junpei ran down the stairs a little farther in hopes of checking on the deck below. When he reached the water, he called back up to Snake and Seven. Just what I thought. D deck is completely underwater, just like the bottom of the central staircase. The surface of the water below them was flat like a mirror. That it had not changed too greatly since they'd last seen it was a great relief. Junpei quickly retraced his steps and headed back to C deck. In front of the stairs were a pair of elevators. They appeared to be identical to the ones from the upper floor. Between them, attached to the wall, was another card reader. Next to that was another strange symbol. Hey, check it out. It's the symbol for Lotus. What? See, it's got the woman symbol, and then it's got devil horns, right? This guy is super great. That was a pretty good one, kid. Seven tussled Junpei's hair in what he likely thought to be a friendly manner. Junpei feared his neck might break, even though it was clear Seven had kept his strength in check. Thankfully, Snake interrupted. After Junpei's observation, he'd gone over to examine the card reader. This is a Mercury symbol. The marks he mistook for horns are a stylized version of the wings and staff of Hermes. Wings and a staff, huh? So she beats you with the staff until you die and go to heaven? Sounds like Lotus, alright. Seven shook Junpei's head even more vigorously, and the younger man began to feel as though his brain was being jostled about inside of his skull. He began to feel rather ill. Unless we can activate this device, I doubt the elevator will function. In other words, we gotta find a keycard with a Mercury symbol on it. So I would assume. We decided to leave the elevators alone for the time being and headed back into the stairs. To the left was another hallway. There were a great many doors lining both sides of the hallway. They seemed to stretch on forever, and all three men suddenly felt very small. Oh shit, we're not gonna have enough time to check all of these, are we? Maybe we can come back here later. Let's check out the other side. They turned around and went back the way they'd come. To the right of the stairs, another hallway stretched out, reaching deep into the bowels of the ship. After a few moments of moving briskly down the hallway, they emerged into an area roughly the same size and shape as the one at the top of the stairs. On the left side of the room were 4 French doors. Well, let's open them up. Junpei nodded and grabbed the one closest to him. He gave it a small tug and felt it move. It was unlocked. Able to have found another unlocked door, he threw it open. Junpei didn't know what to make of what he saw. This room again. Can we skip through this? Nope. But I've been here before. He simply stood, unable to speak. Seven's eyes opened wide and his mouth gaped. After a few long moments, Seven at last managed to speak. I guess I'm with different people this time. Hey, what is this place? A massive room stretched out in front of them, more a cavern than a room. His vastness was oppressive, and it bore down on Seven and Junpei. It was not empty, however. The entire room was filled with lines upon lines of beds. They were simple things, little more than pipe and thin mattresses. Is this a hospital? He had at last been able to put a name to the harsh scent that pervaded the room. Yeah, I figured when, like, the other group comes and they go through that whole debate of, like, which door to go through, it will be skippable. The room was full of the clean smell of antiseptic solution. In the center of the room were shelves stacked with medicine and a number of medical devices, the function of which Junpei did not know. More importantly, however, on the back wall of the room were 4 doors. 3 of them were emblazoned with large single-digit numbers made with thick red paint. 3. The door on the left was labeled 3. The second door from the left had no number, but the third had been given a 7. The door on the right bore an 8. There could be no doubt they were numbered doors. There could be no doubt that there were giant red numbers on the doors due to the red numbers on the doors. It did strike Junpei as strange, however, that the door between 3 and 7 should be blank. What, he wondered, could it mean? Let's take a look at those doors. Yep, good idea. The 3 of them threaded their way through the beds toward the back of the room. Upon reaching them, they proceeded to investigate each door in turn, but to no avail. Yep, locked, just as I thought. Naturally, after all, there are rules to the nonary game, and to allow these doors to open easily would violate those rules. Unless we can authenticate ourselves with the red, the numbered doors will... Whoa, check this out. Suddenly, Seven spoke up, interrupting Snake. Look at the red, there's nothing on it. Huh? Don't you remember the red back at the main staircase? If there wasn't anyone in it, it said vacant on the little screen, remember? Oh yeah, you're right. But this one is nothing. Right? You think it's broken? Only one way to find out. Junpei and the others put their hands on the panel, but nothing happened. The red refused to change. They tried pulling the lever, and still nothing. As they soon discovered, it wasn't only the red on door 8 that seemed to be malfunctioning. The red on door 7 and the red on door 3, none of them worked. What, they wondered, did it mean? They gotta be broken. Man, that bastard, I think Zero was the kind of guy who'd screw around with something like this. Whoa, Zero's been prepared for everything so far, and you're saying he's gonna make a mistake now? Well, that's the only thing I can think of. This thing ain't working at all. While Junpei and Seven talked, Snake busied himself with examining the red. After a time, he lowered his hands and spoke. It seems as if some of the internal hardware has been removed. Internal hardware? That is what I said. Take a look at the underside of this red, if you please. Junpei obliged and bent over to look at the underside of the device. A long thin slit ran along the bottom of it. As he looked harder, he realized it was more of a slot than a slit, and that it was clearly meant to accommodate some manner of electrical device. The other 2 reds were the same. Something had clearly been removed from all 3 of them. I get it, so the reds aren't working because somebody pulled out their guts. So I assume. But why? And who? I mean, it doesn't really make sense. I have no idea. Why on earth would I know something like that? Just then, they heard the sound of a door opening. The 3 of them turned and saw... best friends. June. She stopped short, surprised to see them, and was very nearly bowled over by the rest of her companions, who were coming through the door behind her. Ace, Santa, Clover, and Lotus all poured out of the door, each of them as surprised as the last to see Junpei, Snake, and Seven. Junpei and Seven were, for the moment, at a loss for words. What are you guys doing? Why are you... After a moment of silence and surprise, everyone suddenly began to talk, desperate to exchange information. They talked about the rooms they'd been through and how they ended up in the same place. Of course, none of it was very useful information, but that hardly mattered. They were happy to simply see one another again. Although the level of cheer varied greatly from person to person, each one of them was wearing some manner of smile. Almost as though they had already forgotten about the death of the ninth man. The line sounds very familiar. No, thought Junpei, perhaps it wasn't it. Perhaps thoughts of his death were what drove them to smile at one another. Not in a morbid or hateful way, no. The ninth man had died, but they were still alive. And that was something to be happy about. A sort of simple, uncomplicated joy. Junpei thought, the joy of being alive. Still alive. He felt sorry for the ninth man, but more than anything, Junpei was just happy to be alive. Skip, skip, skip. This is bad though. If the red isn't working, we can't keep going. What about the big hallway? Maybe there's something somewhere in there we might be able to go. No, there's nothing in there. The five of us had a quick look. There were a great many rooms, although none of them appeared to have held patients for quite some time. Patients? You mean all those doors are for hospital rooms? Yes. Apparently they have a number of individual rooms, in addition to this large central room. There was a door down at the end of the hallway too, but it was locked. It had one of the solar system marked things on it. It was the Jupiter symbol. Jupiter. I wonder what it means. Confusion seemed to be the consensus. That reminds me, what's the deal with this big room anyway? What's this thing? Was this some kind of huge passenger ship? No one, not even Snake, appeared ready to offer an answer until Seven unexpectedly spoke up. I bet it's a hospital ship. In fact, it's probably the Gigantic. Alright, I've definitely heard this before. Oops, I think I selected something by accident. Nope. Nope. It was not the only one. What's the Gigantic? Seven nodded to Lotus and began to speak. The Gigantic. Yeah, I've definitely seen this. Or maybe not this, maybe not, I don't know. She was initially intended to be a passenger liner, like the Titanic, but soon after the ship was launched into First World War began, and she was pressed into duty by the British Navy as a hospital ship. Sometime later, the Gigantic was damaged by a German mine in the Aegean Sea. She managed to run a blah blah blah. What then happened to the Gigantic after her fateful encounter in the Aegean Sea? One theory ran that a man named Lord Gourdain purchased her. Lord Gourdain, it seemed, had been one of the few survivors of the Titanic tragedy. Oh. As his obsession deepened, he began to desire the Titanic itself. That, of course, was impossible. The Titanic lay at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, this all sounds very familiar. So you're saying this Lord Gourdain bought this ship? Yeah, at least I think I am. It's impossible. No way we're in some boat that's almost 100 years old. Pipe down, just pay attention. What, that's it? Well, have you got any proof? Proof that this ship is really the Gigantic? Well, the ship's got stuff that's like the Titanic and a hospital ship. So I just figured... Oh, for goodness, don't tell me that's your only reason. No, I've got more. Like? Well, I mean... Seven looked around desperately, doing anything to avoid meeting Lotus's piercing stare. He scratched his head for a moment, then gave up. Finally, he... Oh. Nope. Finally, he opened his mouth. I don't know. Liz sighed and shook her head. I guess your memory isn't back yet, is it? No, sorry. Then almost as if to save Seven from further embarrassments. Yep. Another clock chime. It's midnight, and we've got 6 hours left. Let's just get moving. We gotta find that hardware the Reds are missing. That's all well and good, but where are we gonna look? Well, we've already searched the big patient room, but we haven't found anything. So only one thing left to do. Just one, well, not just one. Yeah, go to the room with all the the hallway with all the rooms. Wait a minute, are you telling me we have to search all of these rooms? Well, you already checked some of them out before you came here, right? We each checked a single room, so 5 rooms in total. Alright then, that's 5 rooms we don't have to search. If we split up, it won't be that bad. If each of us can do 6 rooms apiece, we'll have the other 48 rooms cleared in no time. There are 48 other rooms. Lois did not seem excited by the prospect. 7 fidgeted nervously before responding. Maybe. After some discussion, the 8 of them decided which rooms to begin with and in what order they would go. Junpei was chosen to search the rooms on the starboard side, moving from fore to aft. They also determined when they would return to report their findings the next time the clock sounded the time. When it did, they would meet back in the large central room full of beds. If during their search any one of them were to locate the missing components, they were to yell for the others. If the strategy failed, they returned to discuss their options later. The details decided, they left it to begin searching. Out into the hallway they went, each to the rooms they'd been assigned. However, from far away, Junpei heard a bell ring. It did so only once. It was 1 a.m. He jogged to the entrance of the lodge. Oh, I could skip. Yes. Skip away. So it just like starts working by itself, I think, right? Yeah, let's pick this. Before they knew it, they were there. So was Lotus. She was leaning against the wall. Okay. I'll listen again. Blah 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 blah. First class cabin. Turn around, took off down the hallway to their left. Let's leave her alone. Something told Junpei that Clover probably wasn't in much of a mood to talk. He leaned over and whispered quietly to June. Maybe we should leave her alone. Yes, I think you're right. They turned and walked quietly down the stairs. She got mad at me last time. Yep. Together they ran down the stairs. Let Ace handle it. Well, let's see. Let's go back. Talk to him. Who do you think fixed this thing for us? I'll say Snake. Maybe he got back here before any of us. He found the parts somewhere, put them back, then went through one of the numbered doors. No, that's not possible. You have to authenticate with at least 3 people, or the red one opened the door. There's no way a single person could get through there by themselves. Yeah, I guess you're right. It was a stupid mistake and Junpei knew it. How had he made such a foolish miscalculation? How had Santa noticed it so quickly? Maybe if I had read what the question was actually asking. Junpei shook his head sadly. So both of us, blah 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 blah. I'm done. I'm over it. She was right. It wasn't pleasant, but she was right. There wasn't any way that the numbers worked out. If one group is 4, the other group would always have a digital route that didn't match a door. When 7 spoke, his voice was strained. Yep. So fast. So he falls asleep. How noble. He injected himself, man. The 8? I think I'm gonna go with door 8. Okay, 8 it is. Yeah, alright then. That means June's gotta go through 7. What? Why? What? Santa grimaced and muttered angrily to himself, but finally began to explain. The 6 of us are gonna keep going without leaving anyone behind. There are only 3 ways we can do it. Plan A. Which one did you do last time? No, I did the first one. Like 3? The one where I forced myself to go with June. And they're like, you selfish bastard. Go through 7 with 3, 5, 8. And go through 8 with 4, 6, 7. Or go through 7, 4, 7. Go through 8 with 6, 3, 6, 8. And that's it. Those are our only options. In other words, 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 can never go through the same doors. You get it now? As Santa finished, June looked over at Junpei, tears welling up at the corners of her eyes. Well, no, you're saying we aren't going to see each other again for a long time. Get over it. Junpei felt just as June did. He wanted to be at her side through whatever trials they were preparing to face. But he knew if they were to survive, he had to swallow his feelings. In order for the 6 of them to move forward, he and June had to be separated. He looked at June, he was scared to lose her, but he steeled his resolve and did his best to smile. Hey, come on. You're making it sound like we're never gonna see each other again. We gotta split up, but only for a while. This is just like when we went into the 4 and 5 doors, remember? We got split up then too. I'll bet 7 and 8 are just like that. You mean they're connected somewhere? Yeah, probably. Probably? She didn't sound very hopeful. It was 7 that interjected. I'm sure they're gonna connect somewhere. Why? What makes you think so? If they don't connect, neither team can get through door 9. In other words, the game would end right here. Zero's been on top of his shit so far. I don't think he'd blow it now. I'm damn sure that son of a bitch wants to have his fun as long as possible. He's not gonna end this game until we get through the 9 door. June said nothing. The tears were gone, but her eyes were still sad as it looked at Junpei. He met them and with what reassurance he could manage, laid his hand gently on her shoulder. Everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna see each other again, I promise. June bit her lip and gave him an almost imperceptible nod. Yes, promise? Like flirtatious or like what? Santa's voice shattered the moment. Jan, you guys are done, right? He stretched and continued. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Clover and I will both go into separate groups. I figure I'll take 7 and Clover can take 8. Any problems with that, Clover? Clover looked away and was silent for a moment. Whatever. It was more of a dismissal than an agreement. But Santa didn't seem to care. Alright, we're ready to go then. Let's move. At Santa's command, the group split and headed for their respective doors. Santa, 7, and June walked toward door 7, while Clover, Lotus, and Junpei headed for door 8. For a long moment, they stood in front of the door. Then, Lotus laid her hand against her chest and turned to Junpei and Clover. Are you ready? Yeah. Yes. Then shall we go? The door had opened. A narrow hallway stretched out before them. Lotus and Clover leapt through the door. The moment they did, their bracelets beeped. The detonators in the bracelets had been activated. Junpei stepped forward to follow them. But as he was about to step over the threshold, he stopped. He looked to his left, toward door 7. June stood there, a mirror image of Junpei. She turned and looked toward him. Their eyes met. They nodded. Their farewell took almost 1.5 seconds. Then someone took hold of Junpei's arms and hauled him bodily through the door. He heard the sound of the numbered door slam shut behind him. His bracelet gave a cold electronic beep. 81 seconds left, hurry! Lotus snapped at him and ran to the dead. Junpei and Clover followed her as fast as they could. It stopped. With a shaking hand, she wiped a few beads of sweat from her forehead. Clover, however, was calm. Aloof, perhaps. Pointless. She muttered to herself without emotion and began to walk down the hallway, leaving behind a confused Junpei and Lotus. Lotus watched the girls receding back with a mix of frustration and curiosity. What an unpleasant girl. I bet she's not very popular with the boys. Her sarcasm seemed a little more biting than was perhaps necessary, but she sighed and started after the younger girl. After taking a moment to catch his breath, Junpei followed. The hallway made a number of turns before at last coming to a dead end. Set into the wall on the left side was a large iron door. For a few minutes they stood in front of the door, examining it. Above the door was a plate with the word laboratory engraved on it. A laboratory, huh? That doesn't sound very pleasant. I don't like the look of this place. Me either, but there aren't any other doors. It's not like we have a lot of choices. Junpei, huh? Please, you first. Junpei suspected her politeness was motivated by something other than respect. Guh. Junpei muttered to himself and pushed open the iron door. His first steps inside were tentative and careful, but as he examined the room, it became clear that there was no imminent danger. Lotus followed him in, and Clover brought up the rear. The room they found themselves in was divided into two separate areas by a curved wall. A thick glass window built into that wall made it possible to see into the other side of the division. Junpei walked to the window and looked through. What the hell? He wasn't sure what else to say. Oh, robot! In the center of a room shaped like a quarter circle, a mannequin lay on what looked like a medical exam table. It looked so creepy. Junpei jumped a little. He hadn't noticed Lotus come up next to him. You don't think that thing is going to suddenly sit up or something, do you? Well, I don't know. I mean, look at all those cables sticking out of it. If we press the wrong button, I don't know. Stop it. Just thinking about it is terrifying. She was gripping her arms, the knuckles on her hands white. It was then that Junpei noticed Clover. She was still standing near the entrance of the room. Her face had the appearance of calm, but it was drawn and somehow sad. There was something almost pitiful about her. Junpei walked over to her and, as kindly as he could, spoke. Are you okay? Clover looked away. What are you talking about? What? I'm just worried about you. You've been real quiet. What? I can't be quiet if I want to? Well, I mean, of course you can, I just... Okay then, if I can be quiet if I want, just leave me alone, okay? Come on, you know I can't do that. We gotta work together. Clover bit her lip and was silent for a moment, but then suddenly... Junpei, just don't get it! Her cry took Junpei by surprise, and he stumbled backward a few steps, alarmed. My brother is not the kind of person who just leave me behind. Something happened to him. Something bad. Junpei had nothing to say. Lotus, jolted from her mannequin nightmares by Clover's voice, turned toward them. What happened? Clover's eyes slid to Lotus and back to Junpei. Look, just don't bother me, okay? Leave me alone. Finished, she turned around. Before Junpei or Lotus could say anything, Clover had begun to walk quickly away. Hey, wait, Clover, hold on. You might as well have been talking to a wall. For all the notice she took of his cries. Not even slowing down, she made for a doorway cut in the wall in front of her. Without even slowing down, she passed through the doorway. And without warning, an iron gate fell from the ceiling like a portcullis, sealing Clover in. The heck? What's going on here? Clover grabbed hold of the iron bars and shook them as hard as she could. Hang on, I'll get it open. Junpei grabbed the bars and pulled. In a moment, Lotus joined him. The three of them pulled as hard as they could, but... Ah, ugh, grrr. Damn it, it's not moving. Wait. Are you just gonna give up, just like that? No, I'm not giving up. This has gotta be another one of Zero's puzzles. If it is, then there's gotta be a way to open it. Junpei nodded. Just what I was thinking. Now all we gotta do is find it. Lotus and I can look around here. Clover, you're gonna have to see if you can find anything in there. Oh, yes, I'm on it. Is it time to seek a way out? Yes, it is. Laboratory. Junpei, do something, please. A silver handrail. Is this like an examination table? There's a creepy mannequin in here, guys. I don't know what kind of table this is, but part of it is all black. There's a pen lying over here. I think someone probably used it to make the table black. Well, if they only used the pen on one part of it, there's probably something underneath all that pen. Clover, do you think you can erase it? Yes, sure. Oh, this is a permanent marker. Junpei, do you know how to erase ink from a permanent marker? Erasing from a permanent marker, huh? Give me just a minute, Clover. I'll be right back. I wonder what this is. This thing here looks like a voltmeter. And this is this the control for that? Gosh, there's so many dials. Why don't you try turning one of them? Nope, nothing. There's no power here, guys. I turned the dial a whole bunch, but even if I turn all the switches on, nothing happens. This looks like the control for an electronic door lock. There's a red light on the display. That means it's locked. If we can get that light to turn green, then maybe we can get Clover back. That looks like the control for some kind of electric lock. The red light is on, then it's gotta be locked. There's a green light just below it, although that one isn't lit. I bet it'll turn on if we can unlock it, right? Yes, but how are we going to unlock it? There's no keyhole, no card reader, no keyboard for putting in a password. I have no idea. There's a lot of stuff here. I don't know how we could use any of these. Well, I can say for sure that I do know how to use at least one of these things. Which one? The one on top. I think it's a power cable. The power cable. Huh? I'll take that. The hands on the clock have stopped moving. The clock may stop, but time goes on. No time to screw around. We need to figure out a way out of here. I wonder what this cable is connected to. Okay, one side of this thing is in the room with us. The other side extends into the laboratory where Clover is. In other words, the console in front of us is connected to the device in the laboratory. This is a keyhole. This looks like a keyhole for the activation key. I think this thing's supposed to power that machine in the other room. Well, it doesn't appear to be doing that. I wonder how we're supposed to turn it on. This is a really old type of keyboard. There are two levers here. Do you think they activate something? Why don't you move one? Alright, I'll give it a try. Nope, doesn't look like anything's happened. The keyboard, the mouse. The monitor doesn't have a power cable, so one end of this cable needs to be connected to a monitor. And the other end needs to plug in under the desk. Alright, let's just slip you in. Huh? Well shoot, I can't use this. What's wrong? This cable has 3 prongs, but the socket only has 2 holes. It's not gonna fit, is what I'm saying. In other words, we're gonna need a plug to change the power cable to one with 2 prongs. That's right. Ugh. Complicado. A whole bunch of steel lockers. The 9 on the right all have little red lights on them. Red lights, huh? Well, it can't hurt to give these babies a try. Yep, just as I thought. Locked tight, all 9 of them. I wonder if there's anything important in there. Ethanol. I wonder if this is for antisepsis. Oh, it says anhydrous ethanol. Is that different from the regular ethanol? Come on, it's common knowledge. Anhydrous ethanol is a powerful cleaner. It can even erase marks left by a permanent marker. Oh, how convenient. Cardboard box. There are some papers and stuff in it. What's in the box? It looks like it's quite full. As far as I can tell, it's a bunch of notes about some kind of experiments, but it's all really technical and stuff. I don't really get it. Alright, let's give her this bottle. Should be able to wipe off that permanent ink with it. What am I gonna wipe with? Oh well, your clothes, of course. Haha, kidding, just kidding. Please don't look at me like that, you're scaring me. Clover, can you use the cloth on the table? Soak it in ethanol and then use it to wash off all the stuff in the permanent marker, okay? Right, okay, so I gotta soak the cloth with ethanol. Well, she's got the cloth, but she seems to be having a little trouble with the bottle of ethanol. When she's ready, I should ask her to get to work on that stuff on the table. Soak the cloth in ethanol and... Junpei, it's working. It's wiping the permanent ink off. Huh? There's some kind of weird drawing under all the permanent ink. What's the deal with that drawing Clover found? Maybe I should ask her to take another look at the table. I wonder what this is. There are a bunch of numbers in some kind. I can't see it from here. Clover, you've got a pen and a notebook, right? Could you write those numbers down and then hand them to me through the bars? Okay, Roger. Let's get it. Here, Junpei, I wrote down all the numbers from the desk on here. Paper with numbers on it acquired. New material has been added to the file. Huh? Oh, oops. 3, 2, 4, 1. The note Clover copied from the stand in the lab. Okay. Well, I guess that's all there is. A whole bunch of lockers. None of them are locked. These lockers are a little larger than the ones on top. Let's see if there's anything useful in here. And no, nothing. Yes, not very impressive. The power distribution board and the control panel, they're not working at the moment. Hey Clover, there's a door over here too. Wait, I'll be right there. I can hear her over there. Is this door gonna... Damn it, I can't open it. Clover, what about your side? It won't work. I can't even move the knob. Wonder what they watched here. There are these weird looking stains all over the sink. Is there anything unusual on that machine? Well, I don't know, you know? There are a bunch of cords hanging from the bottom of it. Geez, this is a lot of cords. It looks like they all go over here into the mannequin's head. So the device and the mannequin are connected. What the hell were they doing in there? Oh man, back when this laboratory was active, that wasn't a mannequin in there, I bet. There was a real life human on that table. I wonder what... No, I don't want to think about that. Hey Clover, how are the power cables over there? Huh? What do you mean? Does the plug have 3 prongs or 2? I don't know what you're talking about. Let me go look. Yeah, she does have to kind of crouch down to get a look under there. The cable on the monitor has it's got 2 of those little metal things. What does that mean? That's it. Okay, can you unplug that cable and bring it over here? Okay, but, well, I can unplug it, but it's connected to the main computer. I can't take it over to you. Damn it, that's no good then. Well, how about just the plug? What? The plug? Well, maybe more like a connector? It's the sort of thing that makes the plug with the 3 metal thingies into a plug with 2 metal thingies. Still useless? That is exactly what I need. Alright, unplugged. I'll hand it over to you at the bars. Here you go, the 2-prong plug. Okay, put the 2-prong plug onto the head of this power cable. Alright, I've got the 2-pronged power cable in my hand. I'm pretty sure this will work. Under the desk I go, and let's just plug this thing into the monitor. Alright, that ought to do it. Alright, let's turn the power on. I don't think anything's going to happen. Why not? Well, it's not connected to the main computer. You never know until you try. Pretty optimistic. Junpei pushed the button on the front of the monitor. With a soft hum, it turned on. Streams of letters that made no sense to Junpei began to scroll across the screen. He had hoped they would turn on, but he hadn't expected this. Huh? It's actually working? So it would seem. Huh, isn't that kind of weird? What? Well, it's not connected to the main computer, right? There's just this keyboard and monitor. The only cable connected to this thing is the power cable we just plugged in. So why is it working? Maybe it's a wireless display. Clearly this was a reasonable explanation to Lotus. A wireless display? Yes, it connects to your computer wirelessly, hence the name. Have you been living in a cave? He most certainly had not. Is that normal? Yes, at least where I worked. As he spoke, the lines of letters suddenly stopped and disappeared. The only thing left on the screen was the word pass followed by a colon. It looks like we need to enter a password. Again, there must be a hint around here somewhere. Could you go take a look? Yeah, I'm on it. What are you going to do? I'll see if I can do something about this on my own. On your own? Yep, on my own. Lotus pulled over the nearest chair and dropped herself down onto it in front of the keyboard. Hacker! For a second she stared at the screen. She kneaded her hands, knuckles popping, and twisted her back left, then right. Alright, let's kick some ass. Lotus smiled to herself and rubbed her hands together in anticipation. Then, before Junpei had time to blink, she was typing at an incredible speed, the click-clack of the keys running together like machine gun fire. What? Junpei was, for once, at a loss for words. Didn't expect that, did you? What is she typing? What kind of job do you have? What are you? I'm unemployed at the moment. I used to work for a cybersecurity firm, but I quit. Why? Lotus blinked. Huh? Oh, it was just something. She stopped typing for a moment, and her face fell. This was not an avenue of questioning to be pursued, Junpei realized, and quickly shut his mouth. Yeah, typing fast equals epic hacking skills. Lotus's fingers began to move again, and in a few seconds she was back up to speed. As she typed, more letters and symbols that meant nothing to Junpei began to pour across the screen. What are you doing now? I'm going to try and brute force it. Brute what? A brute force attack is, well, the short version is that I just attack the thing head on. The long version, without looking up or slowing down, she began to explain. A brute force attack is one of the simplest ways to break a cipher, she told him. It checks every possible combination until it finds the right one. For a complex cipher, it can take a very long time. Yeah. It's all about volume. It's not the most elegant solution, certainly. But given the circumstances, there isn't much else I can do. Even as she talked, her fingers never slowed or missed a key. Junpei couldn't help but feel a little odd. Oh, but back to what we were talking about earlier. The wireless display, it's kind of strange if you think about it, isn't it? How do I put it? Let's say you write a program that calculates an addition problem for you, alright? So you enter 1 plus 1. The screen will show you 2. See, isn't that strange? Not really. Of course a caveman like you would think it was strange. You said so just a minute ago. You're just not getting it, are you? Who calculated 1 plus 1? The main computer, right? You said it's connected to the monitor wirelessly. Yeah, but someone who grew up in a cave wouldn't know that, right? They'd probably think that this thing here, the monitor, is doing the calculating. Then once they've decided that, they'll start examining the monitor. They might poke the screen or something. Ah, I see, the color changes when I press it here. Then they might investigate the hardware on the inside. Ah, I see, so this wire supplies power. Eventually they might even cut the wires. Ah yes, just as I expected. When this wire is cut, no results appear. Therefore it must be this device which does the calculations. But the truth is that, just like you said, the computer is doing the calculating. But these cave people wouldn't know that, because they have no idea that the monitor and the computer are connected wirelessly. Lotus continued to type. Junpei scratched his head. So what are you trying to say? Nothing really, it's just, I thought maybe, what if the relationship between human beings and our brains is like that? Ugh, this is too deep for this situation, Lotus. A scientist examining the signals they send out might say, interesting, so stimulating this part of the brain causes this person to see colors. That must mean this neuron cluster controls that function. Okay, let's see what happens when I cut out this part. Ah, just what I thought. Cutting off this part causes that function to cease. Therefore, human thought processes must occur in the human brain. Get it? It's just like this monitor. Maybe the brain is just an output device like this monitor. Maybe our thought processes actually occur somewhere else, in the main body. We just don't know it. We never even think about it. Just like those cave people wouldn't know about wireless communications. We can't imagine that there's some unknown medium that transfers information into our brains, where we experience that information as thoughts. Junpei didn't say anything. Not so much because he had no retort. No, her argument just seemed silly, and he was a little surprised to be hearing something like it from someone like her. The brain is just an output device? Human thought actually occurs somewhere else? Did Lotus really think that? He wondered. It was a little creepy, Junpei thought. It sounded altogether too much like a bizarre, cultish religion. Maybe that's the cause of Seven's amnesia. Oblivious to Junpei's increasing discomfort, Lotus continued. If memory is actually stored somewhere else in some sort of main body, somewhere, maybe he hasn't forgotten anything at all. He's just having a difficult time accessing his memories because the monitor, his brain, has been damaged. Suppose that would explain aphasias and blindsight too. Perhaps they actually can speak or see. The monitor just isn't functioning properly. I guess people with prosopagnosia could be suffering from the same thing. Wait a minute, what? You knew what aphasia was from watching medical dramas on TV. Aphasia. And blindsight was easy enough to guess. But he never heard the word prosopagnosia before. Yeah, yes, I've never heard of that. Junpei just shrugged and shook his head. Nope, what is it? Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces. In other words, my face would look the same as Clover's or even yours. So they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize each other. That means that people with prosopagnosia have trouble recognizing even people they're close to. Usually they can make do by associating people with other things, their voices, their clothes, their hair. Does that mean other people's faces look like blanks? No, I don't think so. You've seen monkeys, like in a zoo, right? To you and me, all the monkey faces look the same. Even though they're obviously got faces. It's almost impossible for a human to distinguish between them. The zoo staff that works with them would learn to identify different monkeys eventually, but you or I couldn't, unless one had a scar or something else to set it apart. That's how people would be to someone with prosopagnosia. Prosopagnosia, huh? Didn't even know that kind of thing existed. Junpei did his best to act as though the entire lecture hadn't gone entirely over his head. And what were we talking about? The idea that your brain is just an output device like a monitor. Are you serious about that stuff? Not really, I was just kidding for about half of it. What about the other half? Well, I guess I was just adulting. Not funny. Lois's smile had something rather masochistic to it. It's nothing more than a story made up out of boredom. Man, she's typing a lot. It was the first thing that came to mind, and I just talked about it to kill time. But it looks like I don't need to talk anymore. Why? I don't have to kill time any longer. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing it right. I'm gonna have to take your word for it. Like, how did you say it? As she spoke, Lilith raised her right arm high and brought it down on the enter key. The program took only seconds to analyze the system. Chunks of text flickered on and off in quick succession, and then a line of numbers appeared, blinked, and disappeared. The screen cleared, and all that was left was the word accepted. Piece of cake. Lilith would clearly have patted herself on the back. Prosopagnasia. Prognasia. Prognosia. Potato. I've like never even seen that word before. After a few seconds, the accepted disappeared to be replaced with Tetris. 9 squares arranged in a 3x3 square. The hell is that? No idea. It looks like a puzzle. Suddenly, Lois stood up. Aren't you gonna, I don't know, do more computer stuff? I can't do any more. It won't let me do any more programming. See the keyboard. Nothing. Well, I guess I'll leave this to you then, Junpei. Let me take a break. Alright, I did my part. He wasn't sure what to say to that. He certainly had done, she certainly had done her part. In fact, without Lois, they probably would have run completely aground. I shouldn't rely on other people so much, Junpei thought to himself. From here on out, he told himself he would rely on no one else. Junpei crossed his arms and stared at the puzzle shown on the screen. Okay, this is weird. Oh, let me guess. Let me guess. Oh, it's that note. It's the note that Clover found. Brad Pitt has it? Poor guy. I feel so bad for him. Although it actually truly must suck to like have trouble with faces. It sounded like something unlocking. Where did it come from? I don't know. Look, Junpei, the lights on the lockers are green. Then we must have unlocked it with the computer puzzle. There's more than one key in here. This one is small and it looks like it goes to some sort of machine. And this one has the Earth symbol on it. I think the Earth symbol matches a keyhole in a door on the A deck. Well, if that's the case, we probably don't need the Earth key right now. Alright then, Earth key, I'll just tuck you away deep in my pocket. Now as for the other key... Activation key. From the shape of it, I'd say it's not... Oh, it's like from the... Yeah, I know where to put this. Yes, it is. It was just at that moment that he heard a voice behind him. It was Clover. Hey Junpei, do you have a minute? He put the puzzle aside for a moment and walked over to Clover. What's up? I wanted to ask you something. Junpei, you went into door 5 with my brother, right? Did you hear him say, like, anything weird? Why is she asking me about this? Junpei wondered. The more he thought about it, however, the more it made sense. Snake had been gone for a long time. Junpei was quite attached to her brother. Of course she would have been worried about him. He thought back to when he'd gone through door 5, hoping he might remember something. Even a small something that would help her. However... Sorry, Clover, I can't really think of anything. I mean, he did mention that his hearing exceeds that of a regular person or something like that, but that's about it. Okay. Clover's words were barely audible. She nodded vaguely to Junpei and turned to walk away. Wait a minute. Look, I don't know if I should ask you things, but if you don't mind, I was hoping you could tell me if, your snake, I mean, was he born... You're talking about his eyes? Yeah. No, he wasn't born blind. When he was a kid, he got in an accident, a really bad car accident. He couldn't see after that, and his arm. His arm? Yeah. My brother's left arm is it's not like a normal person's arm. It's fake, it's not a real arm. The accident hurt him real bad. To save him, they had to cut off his arm. Is that all you wanted to ask me? Talking about her brother had clearly taken a great deal out of Clover. Junpei nodded. Look, I'm sorry for making you talk about all that painful stuff. Clover only shook her head and walked off down the stairs. Let's get her out of there. This key, the shapeshifter makes it seem like a ghostless machine. Alright, I'm turning it on. Okay, the monitor is on now, and it's full of letters. It's showing some kind of warning. Power restored to the experimental device. The emergency system will activate in the event of abnormal subject behavior. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There's something sticking out of the mannequin's head, like wires or something. Why is she all quiet now? They were doing experiments on humans, probably. Oh man, now she looks sad. Keyboard? The only thing about the room that's changed is the lever is down now. This thing's on now. Yeah, that's because we activated the power over on this side. Could you like play with it a little? Okay, yeah, I'll turn this dial here. I don't think it's working. Nothing happened. Maybe she missed something. I should ask her to look around the room again. This is the monitor. There are a whole lot of cables. Sync. I guess this drain is for water, huh? Well, there's nothing here. It's a rack. There are a bunch of cables on it. Somebody cut the outer stuff off the cables. You can see the wires inside. The mannequin looks like there are a bunch of electrodes sticking out of its head. Junpei, thank you so much for everything. Well, what's this all about? And also, I'm sorry I messed up. Can we talk about this when we get you out, okay? Just hang on, Clover. I'm gonna get you out of there right away. Yay, I think this is the first time I've actually seen a genuine smile out of this chick. Okay. Don't need a computer anymore, great. We've already inserted the key and activated this machine. It says power restored to experimental device. So The experimental device is the mannequin. Is it not? The mannequin looks so sad. I gotta admit, I'm starting to feel kind of sorry for it. Shut up. Maybe if you increase the voltage? Roger, will do. Okay, I'm gonna go all the way to max voltage. Max voltage. Wait, Clover. Aw, shit. Oh, here we go. What? I think, pop. Oh, nice. Called it. Oh my god! The mannequin's head. Oh man, that sounds like a fire alarm. Yeah, what the hell? Fire detected. Fire detected. The emergency system will be activated. Evacuate the room immediately. Yeah. It should be unlocked. Manny517, what's up? Control device for the electronic door lock. The green light is on. Open the door then, douche. Junpei, look at the light. Yes, it's green. The emergency system has activated and disabled the lock. Now we can save Clover. Junpei, come on kid, jump. She's safe. Oh man, that smoke is some serious business. Time to close this door again, I think. Clover, are you okay? Are you hurt? Cough, cough. Damn, she's coughing so hard, she can't even talk. You should probably get out of there then. Of course I'm not alright. What the hell took you so long, you big jerk? I was almost dead. Sorry, I was going as fast as I could. You two can do this later. Right now we need to get the hell out of here. That fire's not gonna stay in that room forever. You found the... Alright, I think I've been playing for a bit, so I'm gonna take a break, but thanks for watching, y'all, for the assistance. Until next time. And Hayden, are you still playing that other game, by the way? The one I'm not supposed to be watching? I think I saw you playing like a different game. But if you're streaming like a game that I can actually watch, I'll hit you up. Oh, you finished it already? Jeez. Okay. Good times. Well, I'll just catch you later then.